What's up, guys? I'm Newbie Dave, and today we are finally finishing the Ocean Monument. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Yes, we are back at our original base. I love this base. I really do. It looks so beautiful. I've missed it. Especially with the new 1.18 update, the new mountain in the background, the huge ocean behind our house. It's just such a good spot. It's a good location. It's a beautiful base. Yeah, I love this base. But yes, we are over here today to get some supplies and head back to the last major project that I had started on before the 1.18 update. If you remember, like 6 months ago, has it really been 6 months since 1.18? Wow. Yeah, 6 months ago when 1.18 came out, we just finished doing a bunch of work on an ocean monument. We attacked the ocean monument, killed all the guardians, the elder guardians. I built a giant wall around the ocean monument. I drained the inside of the ocean monument, drained the outside of the ocean monument, cleared out the ocean monument of all the walls and lights and pillars and everything, built a portal room in there, just did tons and tons of work on this thing over several weeks. And I wasn't quite done, and then 1.18 came out. And I'm like, well, there's a whole new world generation. There's new caves, there's new cliffs, there's a whole lot of stuff to go explore. I don't want to keep working on this ocean monument that I've been working on for weeks. I want to go explore the new world. But I think I might be close to wrapping up this season. And I really want to finish that ocean monument project before I do. So if you remember, we actually did a lot of work leading up to this project, this particular episode. My ice farm up there, I recently converted it to a grass farm. Let me fly up there. There's no grass in it because I just went and harvested all the grass. But yeah, with the new world generation, this is no longer an icy area. And so ice wouldn't form here anymore. So I converted it to a grass farm. All these grass blocks, if you put a bunch of dirt in here, the grass will spread to the dirt and turn it all into grass. It's a good renewable way to get grass without just completely shredding your world. And so I've been using this to get tons and tons of grass. I've been using my bone meal farm to get tons and tons of bone meal, which unfortunately, this doesn't work anymore. I don't know exactly when it broke, but it doesn't work on my Let's Play world, doesn't work on my realm. It just, as soon as you turn it on, all of the kelp breaks. Yeah, and you can see the kelp just immediately breaks and yeah, stops running. So unfortunately our bone meal farm is kaput. But fortunately, I got tons and tons of bone meal from it before that happened. So I think we're good on bone meal. So what is the plan? The plan is the outside of the ocean monument. We've drained it, we've surrounded it, but the outside of it is still the ocean floor, which, if you ask me, isn't very attractive. It's not a really nice environment for this ocean monument, especially with all the effort that we put into draining it and building a giant wall around it. I want the outside to look nice as well. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4.5, 4 3/4 shulker boxes absolutely full of grass blocks. If we do some quick math, the wall around my ocean monument, it's 100 blocks round wall, and so 100 blocks across in diameter. Doing some quick mental math here, let's see, carry the 2 round to the nearest integer. That's about 7,500 blocks on the inside, and I think I've got about 76 or 77,000, not thousand, 7,600 blocks of grass. So I think we've got enough to cover the whole area anyways, but we shouldn't actually need that much because a lot of it's actually taken up by the ocean monument. So I think we're good on grass. I'm also bringing a lot of tree saplings, different types. I want to get some azaleas, some oaks, some jungles. I think I'm even going to bring some birches. I don't really use birch a whole lot, but I want to get a good variety of trees in here. Also bring some leaves, some vines, some bamboo. Basically, I want to turn the outside of this thing into just this lush, living, vibrant environment with trees and grass and flowers and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that's the plan. Let me load up on all this bone meal over here. I shouldn't need all of this. I would rather overestimate than run out. I always run out of supplies. I always underestimate how much I'm going to need for a project. And so for a project this big, I wanted to overestimate. So hopefully I've got plenty of supplies. We won't run out. So let's hop through the nether. I should still have my old nether portal that takes me to the ocean monument. It's just not connected to the little tunnel system down here. I'm going to have to go back up top for this. So yeah, we'll take this little boat. We'll catch this little hallway here. And hop out into this nether portal, which should take us to our ocean monument. Here we are. Oh, and look, we still have the old map. Oh, you know what? I didn't lock that one in. I locked in the maps back at my base, but not this one. And so I don't know if that's the new map or the old map. I haven't actually gone and checked. It looks like the old map. I remember there being desert down here pre 1.18, so I think that's the old map. All right, so here's the plan. We're at our ocean monument, and what I want to do is I'm going to strip all of this sand, any stones, basically just take off the top surface of the ground out here and replace it all with dirt, or I guess grass actually. I could just put the grass down on top of all of this, but that's going to raise the entire ground up by one row, which isn't really what I want to do. I'm not going to be super literal about this. Like, I'm probably not going to remove this grass block or this sand block and replace it with grass block, but I'm basically going to strip off the top level of sand and stone and put down a layer of grass. So get all this grass out of my shulker, and we'll come start over here. And I think I'm going to do this as I go. Like, I'll probably end up removing a couple rows of sand and then come back and put in the grass for the area that I've removed and then move on to the next couple rows. I think that's just going to be easier and hopefully a little less mind-numbing than just doing the entire thing in one go. Also, as I do this, I'm going to be collecting sand, which is going to fill up my inventory. And so replacing it with grass should help keep my inventory open. And oh yeah, there's a slime chunk right under my ocean monument over there. And so that's why I had a bunch of jungle wood and sticks in one of my shulker boxes. The plan is to probably end up fencing off that area rather than just having all these slimes kind of get in our way. So yeah, something kind of like this. And there's 3 rows down and 97 to go. So this is going to be a very long, slow, tedious process. I'll probably just do a little work montage, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I think I'm about halfway done. I'm mainly working on the outside parts right now, so you can tell I'm not really getting what's underneath the ocean monument. I did go back that way a little ways, but yeah, getting swarmed by slimes over here, so I fenced that off. This isn't quite on the chunk boundary. I've had a couple slimes spawn outside of that, but is seriously cut down on the slime aggros. This has actually not been too bad. It is a lot of work. It is very time consuming, I'm not gonna lie, but it has actually been going pretty quickly, a lot quicker than I thought. Rather than just doing rows like I started out doing, I've started splitting it up into sections. And a section is really just an area that's all at the same height. And so you can kind of see this, I left a little section over here of sand to kind of show you what I'm doing. And so I'll just come and just clear out all of this sand at the same height in a certain area, and then fill all this in with grass. And it's just, I find that's a lot faster than going by rows where it may go up and down and trying to remember where, like what height it's supposed to be at what location. And so I just know everything I clear out is going to be at this height, so it's a whole lot easier to fill in afterwards. I've got to be a little bit careful over here by the walls, because if I dig out through the wall, then I could end up hitting ocean and the water will come rushing in. But yeah, this is a lot quicker to clear out the sand in a section like this rather than going row by row. And it's also a lot faster to come back and fill it in when it's all at the same height like this. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm not being super strict about keeping it all at the exact same level that the sand is at. And so this is kind of a good example. You can see there's a little patch of sand that is down at a slightly lower elevation here. I'm probably just going to pave over that with grass rather than digging that out and putting grass down where the sand is, just because it's such a small area and I think it would look kind of weird to have that little dip in the ground there. I think it'll look a lot better to have all of this area be at the same height. So this is interesting. I'm in this back corner over here, and this was really, really high. It's a lot higher than the rest of this area around the ocean monument. So rather than having the grass just go all the way up to the same height, I was going to try to level all this out. And I do need to have the grass go up to the same height on the wall because the wall starts up there and I don't want to see all that sand and stone below it. But I was just going to have it like a little wall of grass or kind of a sharp hill back there and try to level the rest of this out. And while I was clearing all this out, there's a big pool of water over here. And there's like this whole underground cave system that's been flooded. And I vaguely remember just sort of paving over this as I was building the wall around this thing. There was this cave system over here, and I was like, I'll just pave over it, and no one will ever see it. And now we see it. So I'm gonna have to fill this in. Oh, you know what? I've got my sponges. Hello. I'll clear it out with sponges to get rid of all the water, and then just kind of pave over all this with grass. Oh boy, do I have an interesting story for you guys. So putting in all this grass took a very, very long time, several hours. By the time I was done, it was late, I was wiped, I needed sleep, so I went to bed. And as typically happens when I go to sleep while working on a big project or with something on my mind, I had a crazy dream. And in this dream, I was still working on this ocean monument project when a warden appeared. Yeah, a warden. The guys that aren't actually in the game yet. And he started chasing me around, and I flew away to try to get away from the warden. But it turns out, wardens can fly, at least in dreams. And he started chasing me through the sky. And an epic aerial battle ensued. And I fled to the nether to get away from this warden. And there were more wardens in the nether. And for some reason, there was also a giant mechanical monster in the nether, which I'm pretty sure actually came from one of the Terminator movies. Yeah, dreams are weird. But now we're awake, we're back in the real world of real Minecraft, I guess. And as you can see, finally got all this grass put in. Let me actually show you guys from the sky, because this looks really good from above. Look at that, all the sand is gone, all the grass is in place. I went ahead and found and outlined all of these slime chunks. I just went ahead and fenced them in. So these slimes are still gonna spawn, but now they're contained and they won't bother us anymore. The part of the grass project that actually took the longest was really underneath the ocean monument, all this area in here, because this area used to be at least 1 block higher. And there was no headroom. I didn't like the way it looked, and so I actually ended up lowering this whole area by 1 block. And I also had to lower some of the area around it a little bit just so you could actually get out. So that took a very long time, but it looks so good, and I'm glad that we did it. So on to phase 2 of this ocean monument terraforming project. It is time to put in some trees. I'm going to use a variety of trees, but mostly I'm going to go with these jungle saplings. I want there to be some really tall, really big jungle trees in here. So I'm going to plant these guys first since they take up the most space. We're going to do some giant jungle trees, maybe one right there. We'll do one, let's see, I think this will be far enough away. Hopefully it doesn't, like the glass doesn't prevent this thing from spawning. We'll do one there, I'll come over, we'll put one over here. I don't really have a particular pattern or plan for these things. I just want several giant jungle trees all over the place. And I don't remember if the jungle trees have to be the 2x2 or if you can do ones that are just 1. Let me see if I can bone meal this. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So you can get some smaller jungle trees. I'll do some of these as well. Oh, also, this back corner. I really leveled this area out. This whole area back here used to be at this top level and just kind of came all the way up to the ocean monument for a pretty big chunk. And I didn't really like that. I didn't like having this one corner that was much higher than the area around it. So I leveled it all out and I just did kind of a wall of grass and dirt back here. I think it looks a whole lot better. And then I'm gonna go ahead and bone meal these to help them grow quickly because I don't like waiting. This is one of the reasons I brought so much bone meal. Sometimes bone mealing these trees can take a lot of bone meal. Sometimes it happens pretty quickly though. All right, that takes care of all my jungle saplings. I actually wish I'd brought a few more, but not badly enough to go back and get them. There's just one or two places where I feel like I could squeeze one more giant jungle tree in, but I think this is good. This is good. Next, we're going to do some giant oak saplings. When sort of mixing things up like this, I like to start with the bigger ones first because they take up the most space, and then you can add in the smaller trees later, and that way you've got you just have more space to work with for the big ones. So unfortunately I didn't bring any oak logs to create sort of a base to build these trees on, so we're just gonna have to do it in the ground. But for these giant oak trees, we're gonna do, actually no, it's one above. I always forget the pattern for this. We're going to surround it in a stone block like this right above the sapling, and that's just going to force it to grow as a giant oak tree. It's also going to take a lot more bone meal. Yeah, see, that took almost a full stack of bone meal. Could be, that was pretty close to the ocean monument. That might have been what was blocking it. But that's how you get a giant oak tree. In fact, I may not have left myself very much room for some of these giant oak trees. I think I can squeeze one in over here. Okay, that is the smallest giant oak tree I've ever seen, but we'll take it because I already burned through a stack of bone meal on it. Oh, by the way, that corner that I leveled out, also a slime chunk, but didn't have to fence it in because slimes actually won't spawn above a certain Y level. I think it's Y39, and that's at Y40, so got kind of lucky with that one. Alright, didn't have too much luck actually with the giant oak trees. I think my jungle trees are a little bit too dense to really put in too many giant oak trees. But that's okay, that's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm just going to go through and put in some regular oak trees now. I'm also going to throw in some birch trees here or there. And I think I'm going to stay out of the slime chunks. I'm not going to put anything in there, I'm just going to leave them slime chunks. And then last but not least, I'm also going to come in with some of these azaleas and flowering azaleas and plant some of these around. Okay, go Minecraft. That flowering azalea actually went through the glass. I don't think it actually replaced any of the glass. It just generated leaves on the other side. Nice. Alright, I think that's going to do it for all of our trees. So now we'll go through and just bone meal the ground to get a lot more of the short grass and tall grass and some flowers. Really add a lot of life and make this place look like it grew naturally rather than just having a bunch of random stuff planted in it. I think I've said this before, but in my opinion, this makes one of the biggest difference in transforming an area to make it look really, really nice, to make it look natural, is just bone mealing the ground, putting in a lot of grass, a lot of flowers. I think this alone is going to have the biggest impact on how this area looks. Alright, next up in terms of decorating, I've got some bamboo, some vines, some different leaves. I'm going to scatter these things around just to add some more vegetation, some more life to the area. Alright, one last thing I want to do here. I'm not going to go super crazy with the water, but I do want to put in a little bit of sugarcane. So I'm just going to do some maybe right there and then maybe one more over here. Again, not super crazy, just a little bit. And then also I've got some melons and pumpkins and some jack-o'-lanterns that I'm going to place around. Again, mostly for decoration, but these jungle trees, they create a lot of shade. And that can make some parts of this area really, really dark. And so the melons, the pumpkins, they'll add some more life, some more decoration, but then the jack-o'-lanterns are going to add some covert lighting to the area. I should say, I'm not trying to spawn proof this area. I'm not going to go crazy with torches everywhere and try to keep zombies and creepers and everything else from spawning. I don't want it to be so dark in certain places where there's these huge jungle trees like this. Now this entryway, I don't quite know what I want to do here yet. I do know I want to put in a path that comes out like this. And then maybe have it just kind of break apart like this. Yeah, and then I'll probably come back and line it, maybe with some specific flowers or some ferns or some potted plants or something. I don't know. I want to do something a little bit different here. And then same thing underneath the ocean monument. I haven't done any bone meal or planting of anything. I don't know what I want to do in here. This seems like it would be a really good farming area, either for crops or pumpkins or melons. So I kind of want to leave the area underneath the ocean monument untouched for now. And with that, I think we are done. Let's take a look around. Look at how incredibly different this place is now. How much it's been transformed. Oh, it looks so beautiful. I really, really like this. I especially want to check it out from above. That's kind of what I was going for, was something that absolutely looks spectacular from above. So I'm going to go fly away a little ways and then we'll come approach it from the sky. So take a look at this. How incredible is that? This looks like some sort of lost Mayan temple that's been like transplanted into the ocean for some reason. Oh, that's amazing. I really, really like this. For the most part, the vines that I placed them all on the ocean monument itself. Those will slowly grow over time and it'll make the ocean monument look a lot older, sort of like it's starting to be overgrown by the vegetation around it. But this looks amazing. I am really, really happy with it. It was a lot of work, you guys. It was a lot of work, but this is exactly what I had in mind, and I am so happy with how it turned out. So that is going to wrap things up for today's episode, you guys. And I think I might be done with this ocean monument. I talked about some other like farms and stuff that you could put in this thing, but I don't know that I actually plan to do that. Just kind of throwing out some ideas if you have a project like this. But I am so happy with how this turned out. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, since I built this ocean monument, since I drained it. This was my goal all along, and then 1.18 kind of derailed that. So I'm really happy that I came back and finished it because it looks amazing. Thank you all so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed this episode. Big shout out to my patron Tiki. Thank you so much for your support. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button, and while you're down there, feel free to subscribe so you'll get notified of future episodes as they come out. Thanks y'all, and have a great day.